As part of my What's New in Laravel 4 course, let me show you how you can use my generator tool, which you can now install through Composer. If you are not familiar with this tool, what this provides is a variety of generators which will very much increase the speed of your workflow. For example, rather than creating a model and saving it and adding some boilerplate code to extend Eloquent, well, you could instead just run a quick generate command and it will take care of all of that for you. It can also take care of things like creating migrations as well as the schema or columns. It can do quite a bit of work, so let me show you how you can get that set up on your machine. The first step, of course, is you need to edit your Composer file to reference this package. I will open composer.json and add a new item, and then Composer update. Great, now that's finished. With that out of the way, the next step is to add the service provider. And if you check the documentation here, I have a little snippet that you can add to the app config/app.php file. So app config app, and we just need to register a new service provider like so. And that's it, you're all set to go. So now if you run PHP artisan, you'll see that you have these new generate commands that you can use. All right, let's take a look at the most easy one, generating a model. If I run PHP artisan generate model, now I can specify the name of the model that I'd like to generate. How about a post? Now we can see file created at app/model/post. And if we open that up, there we go. So we can see it created the file, it gave it the correct class name, and it also made sure that it extended Eloquent. Excellent. Now we can certainly do more than that. Let's next generate a migration. PHP artisan generate migration. And we will say create users table. This is fairly common, right? So let's leave it like that, and we can see within the database migrations folder, it provides some boilerplate here. So we see that it knows that we are creating a table because we used the create keyword. If we had used something like add or remove, well, it would know that we're not creating a table, we're adding or removing a column. So also we can see that it automatically sets your primary key, and it's going to assume that you do want timestamps. And of course, in the reverse, it will drop the table. However, let me delete this and let's try it again and specify the fields. So this time, I'm going to pass this option fields. And now we're going to provide a comma-separated list of key value pairs. So for example, I want a name field, and that will be of type string. Next, maybe we want an age, and that should be an integer. And let's keep it like that. So pay attention to that format. You specify your fields option, and then a comma-separated list of key value pairs. Pretty simple. Now if I come back, because we added those, it parsed that and filled in these method calls for you. That means no longer do you need to generate a migration, come to the migration file, add in your columns or your methods, and then return to the terminal to call migrate. You can do it all in one swoop if you want. Now let's try another one. This time we will run generate migration. And by the way, you of course can create aliases to make for less code. Let's say we want to add user ID to the post table. Now think about it, what fields would you need? Well, we want to add a user ID. So we need the user ID field, and that will be an integer. Let's come back, and now you can see this time it knows we're not creating a table, we are working with an existing one, and we need to add an integer. And on the reverse, it should drop the column. So I will let you play with some of these other options here, such as generating tests and seeds and views. Let's take a look at generate resource, which will call all of those. It's sort of the big enchilada, so to speak. So let me give you an example. Let's generate a resource for a post. So generate resource for a post, and the fields for a post will be a title and maybe a body. So this is going to do a bunch. You can see it first created the post model, it created a post controller, it created your migration, it creates a post view folder along with some child views. It will also create a post table seed file for you, and it also will update your routes file to reference that. So as you can see, it's doing so much. Let's take a look. First, the post controller, that will just run controller make and give you some RESTful methods. Next, if we take a look at the migration, it goes ahead and fills in those fields for you, so you don't have to worry about that. It will create a post table seeder where you can add your array of rows there, and then you'd go back to database seeder and call that, like so. Next, we have the post model. If we go into the test file, it's going to create a handful of tests for you just to make sure that those routes work. And if I go into the views folder, you can see within the post directory, it now gives you some sample views that you can work with. So then at this point, you can see how rapidly you can work. You could open up your post controller and immediately return view make post index. And of course, this is going to assume that you do migrate the database, but we won't worry about that. We'll say post all. So with that single command, you get models, controllers, tests, views, seeder, and the migration along with the schema filled out for you. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. And if you happen to find a bug, just visit the GitHub page and click on Issues. So have fun, and if you'd like to learn more about Laravel 4, be sure to check out my What's New in Laravel 4 course.